ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञेश्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। We're reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 11, chapter number 10, verse number 14. Sri Krishna is continuing to speak to Uddhava, and he spoke about the need to follow Varnashram, need to understand the purpose of life, the difference between body and Atma. Gave the example of fire and wood, and how we superimpose the characteristic of wood onto the fire. In the same way, impose the qualities of body onto the self. And then he gave the example of how the fire is created. So in the same way, knowledge is created by studying from the Guru. Gave the example how the bottom wood and upper wood. And then he described Vasaradi Sati Vishuddha Buddhir Dhanote Mayam Gunasam Prasutam. When this Vidya is there, then avidya is removed, and then Vidya also disappears by the power of bhakti, and one attains mukti. Now from here onwards, from verse number 14 up to verse 34, Sri Krishna speaks about the Purmimansa. So Purmimansa is a very important darshana, school of Indian philosophy or Indian thought. And this is what we speak about when we speak about dharma or Hindu dharma or Varnashram dharma. This is related with Purmimansa. Because the most important part of Purmimansa is the principle of karma and doing dharma. So we, as human beings, we have the potency to act based on our knowledge to fulfill our desires. Everybody has desires and everybody wants to fulfill them. For that you act. But there are two ways of acting. One is that we can fulfill our desires as per the guidelines of Shastra. Then we can become free from our desires. Other is that we follow just our mind, then we become more implicated in them. So Purmimansa teaches us how we can be happy in this world by following the teachings of the Vedas. But the Jaimini Purmimansa, also the followers of Jaimini have developed their system in a way that they don't speak about God. They just believe in the yajna, doing the yajnas, which is considered as dharma, and by that you propitiate the devas, which Krishna also speaks. Te deva bhavetanena, te deva bhaveyantuva. He also said when he was talking about karma yoga, Sahayagya praja sristva purovacha prajapati, that God created yajna. Why he created? You can fulfill your wishes. Anene praswadhama astu voishta kamaduk. So he says that this yajna is like a kamadhenu, wish fulfilling cow. Your desires are fulfilled by that. So this is the crux of the Mimamsa principle or Karmimansa. That's why it is also called Karmimansa. Like at present, all over the world, people think that we will fill our desire by just earning wealth, and then with the wealth we will acquire products to fulfill our wishes. That is the most common belief. So Vedic belief was that your desires are fulfilled by performing dharma, which was predominantly yajna or some other principles of dharma. He also spoke about the yama niyama, yamans abhikshanam sevet niyaman kvachit. So this was their thinking. But in this process, because there was so much dependent on the dharma or yajna, then Ishwar was just kept aside up to the extent that there is no need of Ishvara. They don't deny, but there is no need. And everything is just based on Vedas. And we follow the instruction. One of their explanation which is given why they developed this idea is that because when we become dependent on devas, deity, worship, then corruption comes. Which is also true. Because you see how temples, now big scandal about Ram temple in Ayodhya, that so much money was looted from the donation box. So therefore they said that devas are there and mantra itself is the devata. There is no devata besides mantra. So now there is no question. Also, people don't want to do the karma, they just want, please bless me. So now since the deva is not a person, you cannot go to somebody and say, please bless me, there is nobody. It's mantra and mantra is used in the yajna, so you are forced to do the karma. So this is the principle they have. So of course this in a sense it is good, it makes you active and responsible for your life, but in the process you forget the ultimate goal. Then you just remain in the karma, then you go to heaven and that's it. So that will be described here and refutation will be given for that. So that's what is coming up. Mohini.
What I understood, I have a question for yesterday's class. So what I understood is that in the Advaita God, they also believe, or they also assume that Vidya will destroy avidya, but then what exactly does destroy Vidya in their path? Because they believe...
The verse itself is telling this. If you read the verse, it is itself saying, Gunancha sandaye adatme etat swayamcha samyati asamid yathagni. He said, just like wood, when wood is burned, the fire also extinguishes. So he says that Vidya will come to an end. Just like you take medicine, so medicine cures the disease and in the process medicine also gets digested.
I have heard that you say mantra is the devata in Purva Mimamsa. So I was just a quick question I was trying to think is how they explain the description of devatas in the Veda then, with like forms and bodies and with Indra, Agni, all these people. So how do they account for that?
How do they account?
Yeah.
They don't account for that.
So they are put as statements that are not relevant in, I don't know how, because they accept Brahmana and Samhita also, no? So there are...
Yeah, so therefore they give more stress only to the yajna part. That's why it says Athato Dharma Jigyasa. And what is Dharma? The Vidhi. Everything else, they will say this is all Arthavad.
Ah, okay, so they are subsuming it under Vidhi.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they say that there are 5 types of statements in the Vedas and most important is Vidhi. And all these things are just to, make you inspired like that. So athaisham karam kartrinam bhoktrinam sukh dukkhayo nanatvam ath nityatvam loka kala agamatmanam. So this is one of their principle, which will be surprising to you to hear this. So they say that atha means also change of the subject. Esham karm kartrinam bhoktrinam sukh dukkhayo. That these people who are performing this karma, so they are the experiencer of sukha and dukkha. This is what we experience in our life. Bhoktrinam sukha dukkhayo. That there is state of happiness and state of distress. And they are karma kartrinam. They are the agents of their karma. So this is nanatvam, varieties of that. But these are all nitya. Why? He says the place like heaven, etc., this earth, everything is eternal. Nanidrisham jagat. There was never a time that world was not like this. Not that there was a big bang, it was created, this happened, or there was Mahavishnu. Nothing. World has been like this only. And it will remain like this. No cycle of creation, destruction, etc. So loka, kala, time is eternal. Agama, the Vedas are also eternal. and Atma. So they are all eternal. So therefore it keeps on. If you go to heaven, you live there eternally. There is no question that heaven will be destroyed, you will come down, all this, nothing. So don't worry. But if you go to hell, then what happens? Also eternal. So this is what Christianity also says like this. So Christian people think they came up with this idea, Mīmansakas have them before them. So Manya says, Sarva bhavanam संस्था ही उत्पत्ति की यथा तत्तदाकृति भेदेन जायते भिद्यते च धी. So he says, you should know that all the bhavas, all the objects, all these bhog padarthas, their existence is natural, they are eternal. Even if table will change and something else will come, but another table will come because jati is nitya. Right? There was never a time there was no table. So this table will go, another will come. So there will always be that. Tattadakriti bhedena jayate bhidyate chadhi. Our intelligence takes the various vrittis and it changes. Gyan is changing. Atma is eternal. But Atma is jada. Nyaya also says this. Same here. They are also friends with Nayayikas. So there are changes happening only in the knowledge. Atma remains there. So you don't have to worry too much unnecessarily. Things will remain there. So we see the commentary. So vyavasthapite api atra arthe ye vivadante तेषां जैमिनीयानां मतमाश्रित्य वृत्तिपद्यसे चेत तर्हि शृणु तत्त्वम् इति आह. So he says, if you have doubt because you have also studied the philosophy of Jaimini and you are not saying how is this you are talking about that everything is temporary, only soul. He says, here now, what is the reality? Because the thing is that Jaimini followers, they are completely against Vairagya. Absolutely. 100%. They say that this sannyas etc. is for lazy people, ang, andha, pangu, those people who are blind, who have some limbs like lame person, because they cannot do karma. So mentally deranged people said they take sannyas. If you are healthy, happy, it is true. Why do you take sannyas? He says sannyas is taken by those sick people, mentally deranged, physically handicapped. Such people take sannyas. Otherwise, what is the reason for taking sannyas? Tell me. So you'll say, I take sannyas because we have been told that everything is temporary. Right? He says, no, everything is not temporary. We just told you. It's nitya. Everything is eternal. So this is also the reason they say that world is eternal, heaven is eternal. Because now there is no scope for you to take sannyas.
Babaji, I'm just trying to understand their eternality concept because they are still with Pratyaksha observing the change in the world.
Yeah.
If they are seeing,
So this is called Pravaha Nitya. There are two types of Nityatva, eternality. One is called eternal. Another is called flow eternal. That like river is flowing.
Correct.
So it is not the same river, water is changing, but there is always a river.
Correct.
So when we say that river is eternal, how can it be eternal when all the time water is flowing? So this is pravaha nitya, flow. The flow is eternal. It will keep on flowing like that.
But do they accept the creation and destruction of the world? But they do not.
Partially.
Okay.
Not 100, that Mahadissolution.
Okay. Okay.
Complete dissolution doesn't happen.
So, I mean, I thought we also had similar idea, no, that the creation and destruction of the world is cyclical.
Yeah, but we could say that there is a time when there is a total dissolution.
Okay,
there is
so
no total dissolution. And just like you shave your head, so the hair comes again. It's not that once upon a time there is no hair at all.
Got it.
Because if that also happens, you can plant, And people don't like that you have no hair. So like that. So hair is eternal by flow. Keeps coming. So atha ityadina. He says, now listen. Gunavyati kare sati iti antena. Up to the verse ending in Gunavyati kare sati. This is sloka number 34. Esham karm kartrinam sukha dukkhayoho karma falayoscha bhoktrinam jivanam ye loka kala agama atmana tesham nanatvam nana vidhatvam ath nityatvam nityatva vishishtanam eva nanatvam. So he says, it is everybody's experience that you perform action, some result comes from that. Every action gives some result. Right? And result is of two types. Right? Either it makes you happy or it makes you unhappy. Right? Unless you become like a stone piece, that no matter what result comes, it doesn't change anything in you. So you have this. And then the bhoktrinam, jivanam. So how you have your this sukha dukkha is in some place, in some time, loka, kala, and then by following the shastra agama, because this agama is very important in Mimamsa, because the whole thing you have to do is according to shastra. Vidhi is based on shastra. So you follow that. So they are all eternal. Atma is eternal. Their variety is there, but it is nitya. So this is also to refute the Advaitavad. Why is saying nanatvam? Because in Advaitavad there is only one Brahman, and then by adhyas that one Brahman becomes many jivas. So he says, no, it is not like that. Every jiva is different. They are all eternal. There is no such thing that this is Maya. This Maya concept they don't like. Because by Maya only then you say take Vairagya because it is Maya. So he says, no, it is all real because everything is eternal. It is just opposite of Advaitavad. Advaitavad says that nothing really exists. Forget about eternal, it doesn't even exist. It's all Vyavaharik Satta. Paramarthik Satta, the absolute existence, there is nothing. And they are saying it is all Paramarthik only. There is no Vyavaharik. What nonsense. Same. So, completely opposite. And the beauty, what is the beauty? Both are taking their pramana is the Vedas. Out of the 6 systems of philosophy, there are only 2 philosophies which base everything on the Veda. The Vedanta philosophy, Uttar Mimamsa and Purva Mimamsa. All other yoga, Sankhya, Nyaya, Vaisesika, they just out of respect say yes, Veda is there, but they don't prove anything from Vedas. Veda is just like you take, some people keep Bhagavad Gita in their house and every morning they do arti to it. So these people, Naiyayikas and all, they give pranam to the Veda, but they never touch it. They have their own philosophy. It is only Purvamimamsa, Uttarmimamsa or Vedanta that everything they say is coming from the Vedas. So Veda is eternal, and Veda in here in Purvamimamsa is not word of God, nothing. Veda is eternal, and therefore we are not worried about God. It's not that God gave the Vedic knowledge, no. If He gave, it will have a beginning. It has always been there. So therefore there is variety, there are many living beings, and everyone can go to heaven by doing good karma, and therefore you do that. So this is their idea. Evam api dehinam asakrit janmadaya santi eva iti. So although Atma is eternal, but they take birth. And birth and death, it happens asakrit, cycle of one after another, one after another. Body is not eternal. Body undergoes changes, but you will always have a body. You will never become nobody. So don't worry. You are always somebody. Somebody you will always have. So this is good, because nobody wants to be nobody. So he says that asakrit. Sakrit means only once. Asakrit, not once, repeatedly. So asakrit janmada santi avityatirtyanam evam hi te vadanti. So he says this is how they speak. This is their philosophy. Vairagyam eva tavat na sambhavati. He says therefore vairagya is not possible. Vairagya from what? Why you want to take vairagya? For what? And where will you go by taking vairagya? You have to do karma. Nahi kasyat kshanam api jatu tishtatya karam krit. You cannot live without doing karma. Right? Krishna also says. He says never give up karma. Karma jaya karmana. Doing karma is better than not doing karma. So he says the karma tayostu karma sannyasat karma yoga vishishyate. He says better than karma sannyas, giving up karma, is karma yoga. As Krishna himself is saying.
Babaji, what is the opinion of Jaimini Mimamsa on moksha?
But moksha?
So they do not accept it?
Moksha means going to heaven.
Or going to Swargas?
Yeah. What else is there? Because Swarga is eternal. Apama somam amritam abhuma. Veda says apama somam, we will drink soma juice, amritam, we will become immortal. So then you don't have to take birth. Now here you take birth, because this is Martyaloka. You go to heaven, there is no birth there. You have eternal body, and there is amrita there. So drink that. तथाहि भोग स्थानानाम नाना विधानाम अनित्यत्वाद वैराग्यम भगवेत. He says, people say that you take vairagya because all these places of enjoyment, they are temporary. So he says no. Bhog kalasya va tatupaya bodhak agamasya bhog sadhanasya ling dehasya va natu etadasti. So they say that any enjoyment you have, any object of enjoyment you have, it is temporary. Your life is temporary. If you go to heaven, that is also temporary. Heaven itself is temporary. Everything they say temporary. He says no. Everything is permanent. So therefore, on what basis do you take Vairagya? Whenever there is a time instruction to take Vairagya, this is how they tell you that you are working so hard, but all this is all anitya. So, yad dhruvani paritajya yad dhruvam nisevate dhruvani tasya santyakta adhruvam nashtamevacha. It says that if you give up the permanent and you work for temporary, so temporary will be lost and permanent you did not work for, so you are foolish. So he says no, there is no such thing as adhruvani. He says this is all. Natu etad asti, it is not like that. Ath nityatvam loka kala agama atmanamiti. He says place, planet, loka, swarg loka, time, agama, shastra, atma, they are all nitya. Nacha bhogya vastunam vichhedat mayamayatvad va vairagyam syat ityaha. So now someone says, well, these objects of enjoyment, at least we see they are temporary. Right? They are not permanent. So bhogya vastunam vichhedat. And therefore we have separation from them. Suppose you have money in your pocket, then you buy something with that money, you are separated from that. Moreover, the Advaitavad people say that these objects are all mayamayatvad. They are all made of maya, which means they are not real. Because in their philosophy, maya is not real. Maya is neither sat nor asat. Bhavarupa. That's their philosophy. So why run after something like this? So they say that this is not true, and therefore there is no solid reason for taking Vairagya. Sarvabhavanam Srakchandan Vanitadinam Samstha Samyak Sthiti Autpattiki Parvaharupene Nitya Ityartha. Then Sarvabhavanam. Sarvabhava bhav means objects. He says all objects. Objects means objects of enjoyment. So what are the three famous objects of enjoyment? Srakchandan, Vanita. So garland, sandalwood. Now if somebody lives in Siberia, he says sandalwood. He says, but even my breath is freezing. And you are bringing here sandalwood and Vanita. So only thing which I have not understood yet is that what about ladies? For men you are saying that there are women in heaven. What about women? There is no talk about that. So what is the inspiration for a woman to go to heaven? Is there any inspiration? For men they are always giving inspiration. Even in Islam they say there are 72 whores. You will get 72 virgins. They even have a number checked out. So you don't have to have anxiety. But what about they also about I read Quran, about ladies there is nothing. So this is a very big problem. Half of the population, there is nothing about them. So here also it says Srakchandan Vanita, garland, gold, this sandalwood and ladies. So it says Samstha Samyak Sthiti. So their existence is Pravaharupena Nitya. Autpattiki he says Pravaharupena Nitya. That these are eternal. Even if you have garland and now in the summer season, after a few hours it becomes like dried up. So then you get another one. This is the meaning of pravaha. So like that, even if the particular object is temporary, you can get another one. Then even your body get another body. So you have body building. Tatha cha vadanti na kadachid anidrisham jagatiti. So therefore they say, this is a statement, I don't know, I try to check it, I don't find it. You know from where this is? Everywhere they quote this. The statement is na kadachit anidrisham jagat. So I don't know from where it is. So na kadachit anidrisham jagat means that there was never a time that world was not like this. So they are also speaking in negation. Instead of saying world was always like this, he says there was never a time that world was not like this. Anidrisham. Which means the world is eternal. Atas tat karta kaschid ishwaropikta asti. So therefore there is no Ishvara. Because why do we accept Ishvara, God? Because we say that world is temporary, then it is created. Who creates it? So there is God. But if world is eternal, then where is what God will do? He is jobless. Like these days AI is taking away all the jobs. So we say that Ishvara's job is already taken. So he is also happy, free, doesn't have to do it again and again. Just eternally like that. So they say therefore there is no Ishvara. Kincha yatha yathavadeva natu mayamai. And the world is not made of maya, by the way. He says it is real. There is no maya involved in it. Nacha atma swarup bhutam nityam ekam jnanam asti iti aha tattaditi. Then he made this statement that tattadakriti bhedena jayate bhidyate cha dhi. So there, Advaitavad, what he says is that there is only one Atma. So that is Nitya Gyan Rupa Atma. One Atma which is eternal, conscious. So he says, no. Nacha Atma Swarup Bhutam Nityam Ekam Jnanam Asti. He says, this Gyan, so this is a different usage of Gyan. Gyan here means vritti. So in Advaitavad, Gyan is not vritti. If they say vritti is Gyan, that is only in secondary sense. There the Gyan is Atma. It is only Atma which is Gyan Swarup. All Gyan in their view is only Atma Gyan. But when you come to Sankhya, what is Gyan? Gyan is the vritti. The vritti of the manas goes outside, takes the shape, that's what is Gyan. So they also accept that, Purvimamsa. So it is that Gyan which is changing. Ghatakar, Patakar, Mathakar, various akara, nana kriti bhedena vidyate chadhi. That's what he says. So he says, Ghat patadi akar bhedena dhir jayate atava nitya bhidyate cha. So he says, therefore, according to the form of the object which you see, ghata, pata, pot, cloth, etc. So then you have corresponding change in your manas, knowledge, takes that particular shape. Like now, according to modern science or neurology, they will say that your brain, some different lights, neurons are lighting up. So that's the experience, it keeps on changing, but the brain remains same. Different lights are lighting up, like the screen of the computer. Screen is same, but different parts lit up. Then you see a particular picture there. So same thing happening here. So although it is anitya, bhidyate cha, I am good abhipraya. So this is the deep meaning behind it. What does it really mean? Nahi nitya jnana roop atma apito jnana pariman van. So this is the good abhipraya. This is the, what you call, deep knowledge or deep point about Purvamīmāṅsa, that in case of Vedanta, and it's not only Advaita Vedanta, but all Vedantis, they accept that there is Atma, which is Jnana Swarup. They consider in Vedanta, Atma is considered as conscious. Whether Vaishnavas or Advaita Vedanti is only say Brahman is there, we say there are Jivas, but at least whether it is Brahman or Jiva, they are not Jada, they are not inert, they are conscious. But here he says that Atma is not Jnana Swarupa, because Jnana is just outside. Like in Nyaya, Jnana is the guna, the quality of Atma, not Swarupa. There is a difference between Swarupa and guna. So here also says this is the Gudha Abhipraya. This is the secret meaning. That nahi nitya jnana rupa atma. Atma is not which has eternal consciousness. Then what is it? Apito jnana parinam van. But it has jnana which keeps on changing. Whatever you look at, you have knowledge of that. Then you look at something else, that knowledge is gone. Knowledge is only for 3 moments. First moment created, 1 moment, second moment it exists, third moment dies. So where is the eternality in that? Ghatakar, then patakar, then matakar. Different akar changes. So therefore, this whole idea of Advaita Vedanta is not accepted. Nacha vikaritvena anitya prasanga. Then someone will say that, okay, then your Atma is undergoing transformation because the knowledge is changing all the time. So therefore, if it is undergoing transformation, how can you say it is eternal? Right? So that's objection. So he says, no, that does not make it temporary. Because this change is happening outside Atma. Atma is not changing. Like you have some object, like you have a slate, and you keep writing on it something, then you wipe it off, then you write something else. The slate is not changing. Or you have your computer, you type something, then you delete it, type something else. Computer is still same. So it is only the jnana which is changing.
Babaji, so do they accept that Atma is a karana for jnana? Something like samvai karana, if we can put. So they accept it as upadana
This is
karana.
the adhikarana.
Okay. So then the problem will come then, what lakshanas are they giving for this Atma? I mean in Nyaya it is clear, we have these 8 lakshanas they'll give. But here then what lakshanas they'll give? How are they proving Atma even exists?
Atma exists. First of all, they say that Atma exists. We have pratyaksh pramana of this. You experience your own Atma.
No, I mean because they are accepting manas also. So
Yeah,
we can say jnana is in manas, Atma need not be karana.
Atma need not be the karana for that.
Yeah, we can have manas, manas is karana.
But the manas has the sense of I. You say, I know, I have knowledge.
Okay. That also we can attribute to
what?
To manas.
Yeah, but you say my mind.
Ownership. Okay.
The same reasoning which Nyaya gives, they will give that.
Babaji, what about the objects which doesn't has shape? How the vritti becomes in the mind?
Vritti is not only of shape, vritti is also when you taste something, there is also vritti of that. When you hear, there is a vritti. Shape we give example because it's easily understandable. But when you smell something, there is also vritti. Right? Like neurobiology will tell you that some neurons are lighting up.
So something like time and space, how the vritti of
Vritti of what?
perceived,
Vritti of what?
kala or dik.
Kala or dik? Same, just like you have vritti of that. And you have vritti of smell. So there is vritti of time. Like you say, I am sitting here. So you have the vritti of present time. So vikriya jnana rupasya nanityatve viruddhyate. So there is this statement maybe from Kumaril Bhatta's Slok Vartik. So he says vikriya jnana rupa asya nanityatve viruddhyate. He says that because there is a vikriya, transformation in the form of knowledge, that does not disqualify Atma to be eternal. Atma can still remain eternal. Iti ato muktau indriyadi rahitasya parinam asambhavat jadattvena tat praptera purusharthatvat pravritti reva seyasi na nirvritti. So now the question was asked, what about moksha? So he says, okay, who wants this type of moksha? They will make fun of Nayayika also. Because Nayayikas, they accept Atma like this. So he says, how can this be considered as a Purushartha, that your Atma becomes like Jada, inert? How can this be considered as something I want to achieve? He says, man, live and enjoy. Go to heaven. What will you do when you attain mukti? And even if you ask Advaita Vedanti people, okay, you say your Atma is not Jada, inert. So what fun is there that you become Brahman? You cannot speak to anybody, you cannot read newspaper, you cannot watch YouTube videos, nothing, Facebook. So who wants to be Brahman? I mean, what is so appealing about becoming Brahman? I cannot understand Advaita Vedantis, why they are so hung up behind Sivoham, 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 they are singing. Life is so colorful. And there in Brahman there is no color, no smell, no taste, none of these things. Who wants it? There is no news coming from anywhere. So therefore he says, how can this be Purushartha? Because what is Purushartha is happiness. But in your moksha there is no happiness. Nayayika cannot say that there is happiness in moksha. He can only say there is no suffering. But so what? Goal is not that I don't suffer, goal is happiness. Advaita Vedanti also cannot say there is happiness. He may say it, but he cannot prove it. It's only Vaishnavas who can say that there is happiness. So therefore his proposal actually is quite good. Otherwise what is happening, that this idea of Advaita Vedanta has spoiled Indian culture. Because you give up and become a beggar. So what do you contribute to the society? You are just a parasite. And what do you attain by that? Unnecessary troubling your body. If you really follow the sannyas rules, you are just troubling yourself. So this is how Kumaril Bhatta speaks. If you hear to him, it makes sense. this Vairagya, Viveka, then you become Kukutpad, sannyasi. Cannot look this side, that side. एवमपि अंग सर्वेषां देहिनां देहयोगतः कालव्यवतः सन्ति भावा जन्मादयो सकृत. So he says, in this way, my dear Uddhava, all living beings, because they are associated with body, then according to the time, they have various things, changes in the body, janma, etc., repeatedly, one after another, one after another. So this sloka can be seen like he is speaking against this their philosophy, or it can be seen that because body is undergoing changes like this, therefore go to heaven. It can also be taken like that. So tatra mimamsak mate taduktam uddhavoktam एवंपि गूढ़ अभिप्रायण मीमांसक मत स्वीकारेपि देह योगता देह संबंधात भावा विकार. So he says, therefore, what was spoken here is according to the opinion of the Mimamsakas. And here also, then he says that even in their philosophy, there are changes in the body that you cannot deny, that everybody knows. So now you decide, because you are saying that there is no possibility of taking sannyas. So he's saying, well, they are undergoing changes. You become old, then you suffer. So who wants that? Atrapi karmanam kartur asvatantrym cha lakshate bhoktuscha dukh sukhayo konvartho vivisham bhajet. So he says that here also, in this philosophy also, then he says karmanam kartur asvatantrym cha lakshate. He says that the doer of the karma, he says he is not independent. He is having dependent on somebody higher. As Krishna says that karmanyeva adhikaraste na phaleshu kadachana. And then we undergo sukha and dukkha. So basically you are a helpless person. So how is that considered as a purushartha? Because you have to undergo suffering. If you say that no, I am independent, so then question will be raised, if you are independent, then why you get suffering? The very fact that we have to undergo suffering proves that I am not independent. It's a very simple question you can ask. People say, I am free, I am independent. So ask him, if you are free, do you suffer sometime? He cannot sincerely say no, if he is truthful. So tell me, if you are free, why do you suffer? Because you don't like to suffer. So that proves that you are actually not free, you are not independent. There is somebody who is making the situation which is not favorable to you. So therefore do karma. For that reason, the Mimamsaka will say, for that reason we say that you engage in karma. Because the suffering comes out of duskarma or vikarma. So you suffer when you do forbidden activity, you get happiness when you do prescribed duties. So that's what they will say. Vedanta will say, that's why we say that you transcend it. So that's their proposal. कर्मणाम कर्तुरिति कर्म करणे दुख सुख्योर भोक्तुरिति भोगे अपि स्वातंत्र्यम लक्ष्यते. So he says, we are the doer of the karmas. And when we do karma, then two types of result we are facing. Sometimes dukkha is coming, sometimes sukha is coming. Dukh sukhya. And then we are not free, we are not in control that we say, I don't want suffering, I only want happiness. So he says, we are vivasa, we are helpless. So bhoge api aswatantram lakshate. Swatantre hi ka khalu dukkham bhunjati. Kove viveki duskarm kriyat. So he says, if we were actually free, absolutely independent, then who is that person who will choose to suffer? And who is that person who has intelligence that he will engage in forbidden activity? Because knowing well that forbidden activity is going to give you suffering. Tatascha vivasham asvatantram. So what does this prove? This proves that we are actually asvatantra. We are helpless. We are not supreme master, supreme controller of ourselves. So now and then he is going to explain in the next verse is interesting. He will show that there is nobody in this world who does not suffer. Whether you are learned or you are ignorant. And there is nobody who has only happiness, whether you are learned or you are ignorant. So what does that prove? We should do something or not do something. So he will talk about that. That even if you perform karma properly, still you suffer. So we'll read that tomorrow.
Babaji, this concept that they have that karma is eternal, I am trying to understand in the Martya Loka and in Swarga Loka how it is different. So, karma is pravahi nitya in Martya Loka, but it is really nitya in Swarga then. Is this correct?
There is no karma.
Oh, but then...
They are only getting karma phala.
So,
Karma means that there is a vidhi. You have to follow, you do
correct.
yajna.
Is dharma karma synonymously. Then my question will be, then the punya that we have got here, if it is, to what extent it will get extinguished at some time once you are enjoying, no? Then how will they make Swarga as eternal?
No, it will not. That's what they are saying.
So punya will never get extinguished.
No.
Then Papa will...
Otherwise, what is the meaning of apamam, soma, amritam, abhuma? What is the meaning of that?
We do somapana and become
immortal.
Immortal, yeah.
So immortal means it will never come back and take birth here.
Okay, so it is more in that sense that whatever punya you have at that point, after somapana it is eternally there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Puja.
So, Guruji, I just wanted to understand that about this religion thing.
About what?
This religion that you just said, no? Like, even I had this question from a long time, like, why do we have, like, different religions and then different books, as you said, Quran and Bible? Like I have two questions. One is this. Also, if we talk about the Hindu religion, our culture, here also like we have Bhagavad Puran and then we have Shiv Puran and other. And if we read them, like if in Shiv Puran they talk about Mahadeva, like how he and the universe came from him. So why it's like so different concepts?
Because there are different types of people. Just like if you are in the second grade, you also have a book of maths. If you are in the 10th grade, you also have a book of math. If you are doing masters, you may also have a book of maths, but they will be all different according to your caliber. So therefore in our Shastra also there are different books according to the caliber of people. So Shiv Puran is not for everybody, Bhagavad Puran is also not for everybody. Some people will take to Shiv Puran and they will not like Bhagavatam, some will take to Bhagavatam, they will not like Shiv Puran.
True. So so basically we don't have to compare, like or we shouldn't compare.
You cannot avoid that. Even if you say you should not, you will still do that because this is how our mind works. When you have Shraddha in anything, suppose you have Shraddha in Shiva, what does it mean? That Shiva is the best. You have Shraddha in Ganesh, Ganesh is best. You have Shraddha in Kali Ma, she is the best, she is the source of everything. So whether you like it or not, this is how it is. Similarly, if you are Hindu, that is the best. If you are Muslim, Quran is the best. If you are Christian, then Bible. So everybody has their Shraddha. And because we have different gunas, nature, so we have different Shraddhas according to that, our samskaras. So therefore so much variety is available so that at least you like something. Like you go to supermarket. When I first went to West, then I went to market. In India we only have milk. You can say it is cow's milk or buffalo milk, something, but you go to America store, then you have saturated fat, unsaturated fat, homogenized, vitamin D milk, this milk. There are 30 varieties of milk. So why? Because different people have different choice. Sandeep.
Pranam Babaji Maharaj. So, who is the adhikari for Karam Marg? What has been stated in the last 7-8 shlokas. Normally, once the path is described, then adhikari is also described in the beginning itself. So here, though no adhikari has been given, anyone can follow.
So what is your idea?
Who want enjoyment?
Yeah, simple. What is so complicated about it?
But then this Charvaka and how is it different? Charvaka?
What?
Charvak.
What do you mean, how it is different?
Charvak is also saying that one life, just enjoy it.
Yeah, so you follow that. If you have Shraddha in Charvak, you follow Charvak. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not talking about Shraddha and Charvak, but what I'm saying is, how is Charvak different from this Karam Marg described now?
How is it different? Because Charvak does not follow any instruction of the Vedas. So much difference. Here they follow Vedic instruction. They will talk about, that you should be ahimsa, truthful, this, that. Charvak is against heaven. Charvak is against next birth. Charvak does not believe in Atma. There is so much difference. Just one point you are taking, enjoying. And here also their enjoyment is not like Charvak enjoyment. Charvak says you can borrow from somebody, don't give back, enjoy. They will say you will go to hell if you do that. This is to discipline. Already Krishna says karmokshay karmani vidatte yagtavata. So Vedanam anushasana, Balanam anushasana. To discipline. That is the importance of Karma Marg. It disciplines you. Charvak, there is no discipline. Okay.